I see this every time. I see couples, you see a wife making big investments or buying properties here and there, or the husband as well. And then they're like, I don't want my wife to know. I don't want my husband to know. I want this to be a secret. What if I told you that one of the biggest financial threats in many marriages isn't lack of money, but secrecy? Why do husbands and wives hide their investments? And what happens when the truth finally comes out? Welcome to another thought-provoking episode on the Extract Podcast. And today we'll be diving deep into the hidden world of secret investments in marriage. With me here in the studio is a very beautiful legal practitioner, Barrister Nike, and she'll be helping us unpack the legal, emotional, and financial consequences of keeping assets in the dark. You're welcome to the studio, Barrister Nike.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Okay, now to the first question. I'd like to know, please tell us, why do you think husbands and wives hide their investments from each other?
All right. The reason why husband and wives hide their investments from each other is because there's not enough trust in the relationship. When there is enough trust, you will not have any reason to hide anything from your partner. But when two people don't have enough trust in each other and they are actually together as a couple, it's actually very difficult for them to actually expose their financial aspect to each other because they don't even have enough trust for each other. So trust is a main deal for couples, because when there's no trust, you will not be able to actually say you want to extend your financial aspects to your partner. That's why most partners tend to hide their financial part from their partners.
Okay, is it just about trust alone, or are there other factors that could lead to partners hiding their investments from each other?
Actually, there are so many factors.
Okay.
It's not just trust.
Okay.
Aside the fact that we have our cultural, you know, whether we like it or not, we need to understand the fact that we are Africans. We have our cultural backgrounds.
Okay.
So most times, these backgrounds, whether we like it or not, tend to have effect on most people's, probably their upbringing and the rest. So these actually now affect the way they relate. Because of the background they already had, when they want to now have another relationship or something, it affects it, because what they see is done where they are coming from is what most people want to do again.
Yeah.
It takes a very few people that will say, no, let me sit back and see what's right, what's wrong, then let me go for the one that is wrong. Right, rather.
Yeah.
So basically, there are so many factors, not just trust. So many factors, yes.
Okay. All right. I think another factor that we need to look at also is the past trauma, maybe past experiences of financial trauma. You know, a lot of people have had it rough in the past, maybe as a result of relationship, maybe as a result of love, maybe loving somebody and then the other person takes advantage of them financially, you know, financial manipulation, let's use the word. You know, because of those horrible experiences they've had in the past, they tend to bring it into their marriage. Into the new relationship, which is the marriage. And then they are scared of opening up so much about their finances to their partner.
Totally, yeah.
So let's move to the next question. Legally, do you think it is appropriate? Do you think it is right for a partner to know all about his or her partner's investments?
Okay, legally, there is no law that actually states that you must do, because you're married, you must open up everything to your partner. There's no law about that. That is actually based on your personal perspective as an individual, your upbringing, your beliefs, and the rest, or your experiences. According to the law, what the law recognizes, two consenting adults have agreed to come together that they want to cohabit together as husband and wives. That's what the law actually recognizes. So when it now extends to opening up about your finances, the law is actually silent on that.
That is really?
Yes.
Wow.
That's now left that's a personal thing now between the couples. And what I try to tell people is that what people don't understand is like the law did not provide for that.
Okay.
But it's left for you as a couple or as individual to now make provisions for that. Because the reality is that if anything happens, maybe, okay, let me just give an example.
Okay.
Of in cases like, we have cases like, you know, a man will not open up to the wife the extent of his financial limits. He will not want to open up because he doesn't want the wife to know. So in a situation that we've had instances that something will happen and the man dies. So the question now lies that most of the properties, they now go into hands of unknown people.
Right.
Because you did not inform the partner of all the assets and everything you have. So what just happens is just like it's anybody that is lucky enough to be in like, okay, maybe if he keeps the secret with someone or he keeps the document with someone and he dies, so the person becomes the lucky one because the wife is not aware.
Exactly.
So these are the implications, and it will now affect the children, because how would the woman be able to cater for the kids? They now start struggling. So these are what couples need to sit down together and discuss and address with themselves. Because the law did not make provision for this. But these are real life situations that will affect you. So these are reasons why couples need to sit down, discuss about these things extensively. It's not just about saying, let's get married. No. Marriage is there, but after the marriage, that is what really matters. So that's just this.
Okay, so you're saying that legally there is no law that states that a partner must open up about his or her total assets to the other party. Oh, okay.
The law did not state that. Okay. The only where in Nigerian law, there's no place like that in Nigerian law.
Okay.
The only thing is just like maybe if you want to enter a public office, or maybe in the claim of child custody.
Okay.
Child custody, and probably the lady is now claiming that okay, the man has more money and the man is claiming he doesn't have money. So there he can do declaration of asset. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah,
that's just the only part.
Okay.
You declare asset. Aside that, the law doesn't say that your partner must know everything about your financial. Okay. The law did not make provision for that.
Although the law did not make any provision for that, but you're saying that it is actually the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do. That is just the best thing to avoid unforeseen issues that will happen in future. And if anything happens, how will the wife take care of the kids?
Yeah, you said that earlier. Okay, now moving to the next question. What you said right now just brings me to the next question. You would agree with me that a lot of people don't practice this.
Oh, at all, not at all.
As a real estate consultant, I see this every time. I see couples, you see a wife making big investments or buying properties here and there, or the husband as well. And then they're like, I don't want my wife to know. I don't want my husband to know. I want this to be a secret. Yeah, they don't practice. A lot of married people don't practice this at all. You know, and it's a major challenge.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the excuses from your experience? I believe you must have had cases like this. What are some of the excuses that these people give for keeping their investments from their partners?
For me, basically, the main thing still boils down to cultural challenge. Whether we like it or not, we are coming from a phase of, if you check our society generally, as Africans, it is recently we are having situations that women can even talk. They can do this, they can do that.
Yeah.
Culturally, before, women don't even have access to all these things.
Yeah.
So it's more like we are evolving. So that's why you see in Africa or in Nigeria mostly, you rarely see this. They will be hiding their assets from their wives or their spouses. It's just few people. It's just few people that have been able to just check and like, no, this is not right. We now have to, you know, that's why they say that in learning, you learn things, but in life, you still need to relearn. You learn things, unlearn, relearn.
Yeah, right.
So that's it. The main thing is just a cultural thing. Whether we like it or not, it's from our background.
Yeah, okay, so, okay, I get you clearly. Now, let's also look at it from this angle. Yeah, a lot of people tend to hide their investments from their partners because they feel that maybe their partner is not very good with money management,
Yes,
and all of
exactly.
that, because they feel that once they let he or she know about
Knows.
their assets, they tend to, there's a tendency or there's a possibility of squandering everything like that. So they tend to keep it to themselves.
Yes.
True?
No, that's very right. In fact, I've had an instance of where a couple, once she is aware that the partner has money like this, there won't be peace until they finish the money.
So are you saying that in
So
such cases it is ideal?
It is not ideal. It is not ideal. So that's not normal.
Okay.
But we've had cases, in fact, I've had a situation, I know someone personally, that once they know you have money like this, you know, some people are just like that. So that one, you know that the person has money problems. That one has money management problems.
So do you think it's safe for the partner to hide investment from such person?
It will be safe.
Okay.
Yes, for someone that has a money management problem, someone that gambles. You know, we've had incidents of someone that gambled everything they had.
Wow.
Gambled. You know, people don't know about all this kind of addiction.
Yeah.
Some of these things are that bad. People are like, the family went to ground zero just because of the betting addiction of the husband. So in this case now, for me, I would have said a smart woman would have actually made some investments without him knowing, because this one now is just to be emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
Here now, because it's not like you're trying to hide things from your partner. You're trying to protect what you have, because you know that this person is not capable to handle it. So you have to protect it. Since the person is not in a position, normally the other spouse is supposed to be in a position to help or support. But when the person is not in a position to do that, you just have to hide it to protect the family, for the well-being of the general family. You understand? Because if they have to bet off all the house and the family is left homeless.
So from what you're saying now, it's very obvious that you've had several cases or experiences of partners hiding their investments. How were you able to manage it, and what was the outcome like?
Okay.
Just give us maybe one instance.
Okay, well, as legal officers, what we do is we actually advise. As lawyers, that's what we do. We actually advise and meditate and see how best we can see that the party settles. So it is when, after trying, we discuss with them, we try our best, it doesn't work. That's when we now proceed to court. You know, even when you get to court, the court will even still ask you, like, what is the pretrial conference you did? So what's the mean by pretrial conference is like the court expects that before you even brought the matter to court, you've done a level of mediation, trying to resolution, trying to resolve it and manage it. But despite all that, if it doesn't work, all those arbitration, they call it arbitration and mediation. If you try to arbitrate and mediate, it doesn't work. That's when it's out of our hands now. We now proceed to the court. But what we do is we just try to advise them, basically. Yes. We just try to advise them.
So, okay. So in a case of divorce, maybe say, maybe the marriage doesn't work out, how does this hidden assets does it affect divorce in any way, or separation?
In Nigeria?
Yes, in Nigeria.
It doesn't affect it in any way at all, because the thing is, why it actually would have affected it would have been in cases of alimony, when they want to actually share assets between the spouses. But where that is not even applicable in Nigeria, so whether they hide it or they don't even hide it.
Oh, wow.
Yes, mostly you can't really claim it.
Okay, so are you saying that after divorce or after separation, maybe the court later finds out that one partner, maybe partner A, maybe the man had some assets hidden, there's no chances of revisiting that case or reopening that case to make sure that the woman gets what is due to her?
No.
It's not
No,
possible.
no. In Nigeria, no.
Wow.
No. Outside, once you're married, your assets already becomes like, it becomes for both of you.
So that means that simply means the law is encouraging people to hide their investments, because if there's no punishment for people that hide their investments after divorce, I don't know.
There's no punishment.
Wow.
Yes, like outside now. That's why, they outside, you can't hide your investment. You actually have to.
Yes, everything has to be open.
It has to be open. Unlike here. So those are some of the discrepancies we have in our law, applicable law over there and here. Yes. So people need to note all these things, because if you feel that, because I watch it in one film or that's how it's done there, it's not applicable here. That's the reality.
Wow. Thank you so much. So what are the risks of keeping financial secrets, especially if one partner passes away?
Okay, just like I said.
Yeah, I think you mentioned that earlier.
Yes.
That all those assets will go to strangers, and then the partner, maybe the woman, will be left to suffer with kids, or the man, because it's not just the woman alone.
It will make growing up for the kids stressful. We've seen a lot of cases in fact, I've had so many cases of where a man was doing very well, but because he didn't empower the wife, and as Africans, they would just feel like, you're a woman, Joe, it's men that are handling things. So he handled this thing, mostly men thing. When he died, they were actually doing well, and the family was living very comfortably when he was alive. But immediately he died, that was the end. Because the wife did not have access. She doesn't know where any of her husband's property is. He never confided in her. So they just lost everything, just had to go on the street. So those are the implications.
Wow. So what are some of the steps that partners or couples should take to ensure financial transparency in marriage?
Okay. I think mostly why people don't want to, they hide their financial aspect from their partner is because they are being scared in case anything happens, so that this person will not come and take everything I've worked for and all that. You see outside, that's why they have a prenuptial agreement. Okay. That's why, yes, outside the country, what they do is they'll have a prenuptial agreement that, okay, in case anything happens in this marriage and we decide to divorce, you are only entitled to what you have, what you came with before we get married. That's what everybody will be entitled to. It is only where there are cases of infidelity or like something really happened. That the other party needs to now claim for damages or that's the only exception. But if not, the ideal thing is do a prenup. If you're being scared of opening up, the main thing is just to do a prenuptial.
Is that applicable in Nigeria?
Prenuptial agreement. Yes, you can do that. Okay. You can do, yes. They call it a prenuptial agreement. So you can do it here too.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. So what about joint investments? Would you encourage or would you advise partners to go for joint investments? We have cases where partners open joint accounts. And maybe they want to acquire a property, you have both partners' names on the documents, and stuff like that. For me, I think that is ideal. I don't know. I think that is ideal to build trust and transparency in every marriage. But I want to hear from you, from the legal parts perspective.
No. For me, it's okay.
And personally too.
Personally, I advise it.
Okay.
Because why I advise it is, I've seen in cases that it kind of brings the couple back together. Let me show you an instance. There's an instance that the couple, they bought a house together. This is something that I was privy to. But they got divorced. Okay. And they bought the property together in their name. So what happens? It's always funny, but they still stay together. Each time he's outside saying he's divorced, like every time he says himself, it's funny.
But they're together in the same house.
It was later when I got to know that, they bought the house together. So except one person who had to forfeit and sell or pay off the other party, which nobody is ready to
do that.
So they're just that. So in other words, for me, it was cool because I've always seen them as a married couple with their siblings and the rest, because it was just a cute family. But going further, when I now knew that they were actually divorced, I was like, wow, but this is good because it helps the children and it builds healthy relationship. I feel it's even better than all this kind of relationship you have now, because you're no more together. It will be like your enemies from the pit of hell. It's not meant to be. So for me, I think I would encourage it. I think it's cool. Yeah, because I think it builds a kind of connection around the home. At least for the one I've seen, because I've never seen it before, but that one was a shock to me. And I love it because the children were not affected. That was the main thing for me. And we need to consider them.
Yeah. Right.
And that's where we have broken people, family, the circle keeps going round and round. But this was a different one entirely for me to see. And I loved it because the children were not in any way affected. And that is what we're trying to actually encourage. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barrister. That was really insightful.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, now that brings me to the next question. Are there legal actions that a partner can take if the partner finds out that maybe her husband or his wife has hidden assets or investments out there that they do not know about? Are there legal actions that they can take against the partner?
In Nigeria?
Yeah, in Nigeria.
No, please.
It's shock.
Because if you're asking for the or the main thing you're asking for, if you're asking for settlement, maybe you're asking for his upkeep, whatever you're asking for.
You're asking for support.
You're asking for yourself is support. But for you to now be asking that I declare all my assets, no. There's no law for such in Nigeria.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Sadly.
Well, that's a sad reality.
Sadly. But we'll get there someday. I believe maybe someday.
We need to understand that. You know, one thing about the law is and for the fact that we are operating a democratic system, you understand? So that's why fundamental human rights. You see that right? That is what actually makes that the law will actually give it to you, because that's the part of democracy that you're meant to enjoy. So the law will not actually be strict on that, because when they are strict on that, they're already curtailing your rights. So which actually now defeats the face of the whole democracy.
I get it. And now to the final question, Barrister Nike.
All right.
Would you advise couples to have prenuptial or postnuptial agreements to avoid financial conflict in the future?
100% yes.
Please tell us why.
It's just good to be on the safe side.
Okay.
And it helps you not be scared or you have anything to hide. It just protects you. So that's just the main reason. You protect everybody. So everybody is already aware from the beginning.
Okay, so you've heard from Barrister Nike that it is cool, it is actually okay for couples to have prenuptial or postnuptial agreements to avoid future issues when it comes to finances. This has been an amazing session. And you've heard it that there is no law that demands that a partner must open up about all of their assets to the other partner. But it is actually the right thing to do. Because when it comes to marriage, trust is one of the key factors that you must have. You must build trust. It must be established. So hiding your investments or hiding your assets from your partner is not the right thing to do at all. Before even getting into that marriage, and even in the course of the marriage, it is actually appropriate to open up, to be honest, 100% honest about your investments, about your assets, about your finances. But there are few cases, or there are few exceptions, especially if your partner is not very disciplined with money, if your partner is a gambler, you can go that extra mile of keeping some of these assets or investments away from your partner to ensure that it is safe. but basically it is the right thing to do. I'm sure you've enjoyed watching this wonderful episode with us today. Thank you so much, Barrister Nike, for coming. I really enjoyed this session and I'm very grateful. And at least I've learned a thing or two about marriages, about investments in marriages. And I would say that I am so delighted. I am so glad. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And to the viewers, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with us till the end of this episode. I'm Julian Chidinma, the lead host on the Extrack Podcast. And with me in the studio is our beautiful Barrister Nike. Thank you so much. Until we come your way again, stay tuned, stay informed, stay intentional, and most importantly, stay transparent. Cheers and bye for now.